Imagine waking up to find FBI agents patrolling your neighborhood, not because of a sudden crime wave, but because the president says your city is more dangerous than Baghdad. That's the scene unfolding right now in Washington, D.C., and it's sparked a political storm over crime, homelessness, and federal power.
And now the plans call for as many as 130 FBI agents to patrol the streets with D.C. police, which, to say the least, would be highly unusual.
This isn't just a security boost. It's part of President Trump's threat to take direct control of D.C.'s local government, something that hasn't happened in decades. Federal law gives the president more authority here than in any other U.S. city, but that authority is now being tested in ways many call unprecedented.
Any comparison to a war-torn country is hyperbolic and false.
Mayor Bowser insists violent crime is down, not just from last year, but compared to 2023, and the data backs her up. But crime statistics don't always match public perception. Ask anyone who's been mugged, carjacked, or harassed. A lower crime rate on paper doesn't erase fear on the streets. That's where Trump's political instincts kick in. If people feel unsafe, he acts, even if the numbers say otherwise.
Social. The homeless have to move out immediately. We will give you places to stay, but far from the capital. The criminals, you don't have to move out. We're going to put you in jail where you belong. It's all going to happen very fast, just like the border.
Trump's message is blunt, almost theatrical, and that's part of why it's grabbing national headlines. This crackdown isn't just FBI agents. It's also talk of a National Guard deployment, a juvenile curfew in high-crime neighborhoods, and a promise to make the Capitol beautiful again.
But it's the theater of it, right?
Yes.
These individuals, this law enforcement in force on an American street. We talked about that a bit in New York when there were questions about crime in the subways, and you started to see National Guard members in our subway stations. There are a lot of folks that felt comfortable about that, but others that said, why are we doing this, right? Because why should we have this kind of show of force?
Critics say that's exactly the point, a show of force in a city that, statistically, doesn't need one. They warn it sets a dangerous precedent. If a president can flood D.C. with federal agents without a crime spike, could the same happen in other cities? Supporters counter that laws mean little if residents and visitors feel unsafe. They see Trump's move as decisive leadership, the kind that bypasses red tape to get results.
Well, the law says the president can do what he's planning to do. You know, the D.C. Attorney General, the local prosecutor, essentially, dismisses all of these carjackings with guns as, oh, kids are kids, as if it's okay. It's not okay. You know, when minors act as adults by committing serious violent crimes, they should be treated as adults. But currently under D.C. law, and that's not happening. You know, it's rare that a 16 or 17-year-old gets charged as an adult and the case gets pleaded down to a misdemeanor. The D.C. City Council could change all this. They won't do it. They're soft on crime. So Trump is right to step in. He is allowed to deploy federal law enforcement assets and order the U.S. attorney to assume many of the prosecutions. D.C., understand, is basically a ward of the federal government. That gives the president ample authority to do it. And in fact, Congress passed a law, the Home Rule Act. He can seize control, if he wants, of the police department on an emergency basis.
Legally, Jarrett's right, at least in the short term. The Home Rule Act lets the president take control of D.C.'s police department during emergencies. A full local government takeover would require Congress. But in politics, perception often matters more than process. And right now, the perception is a standoff between a Republican president determined to act and a Democratic mayor walking a careful line between cooperation and pushback.
If this can be done here, where you have other American cities that have high populations of unhoused people, what sort of precedent does this create in terms of how mayors will choose to deal with that? So this is such an important conversation.
From the White House to City Hall, the debate now circles the same core question. Is this about safety or power? For D.C. residents, the answer will be written not in speeches, but in what and who they see patrolling their streets in the weeks ahead. If you found this breakdown useful, remember that informed citizens are harder to spin. Stay curious, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.